Hey there, this is Chet, and today I'm going to follow up on my previous video asking for advice on Donkey Kong Country, or rather Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I took to the internet to seek answers. What is the best technique for the game? What are some good practices? And turns out the elite players of Donkey Kong are all on Reddit, as opposed to my tips and tricks video from back when I did Monster Hunter. Those were some pretty good tips. But the audience for Donkey Kong's a bit more niche, so these people here on Reddit had some great answers for some techniques. To start, Ted Derps 1 says that if you want to get lots of distance, do a roll into a jump. You combine a roll into a jump with cranky, you can go really far, really fast. Just watch out for obstacles. Hope this helps. Also, just rolling in general is helpful. Yeah, it's weird that you don't have like a punch button. Usually it's a big gorilla. You feel like you could just punch the shit out of anyone, but he doesn't. So you gotta roll a lot. It's almost better than trying to jump on their head since a lot of them wear spiky hats. So when you run into this, yeah, rolling's a pretty good solution. He wasn't the only one suggesting rolling, because to follow it up, Maje Jutsu said, while people have mentioned roll jumping, I come to find not a lot of people realize that you can roll off a ledge, then jump afterwards. This lets you collect a lot of items that look like death traps or just make that extra long leap. Yeah, this is right, I tried it out here, as you can see. Yeah, you can roll off of a ledge and then jump. Pretty cool. Almost the same thing as a double jump, except you gotta put yourself in grave danger first. Anyway, he also says, pulling off high bounces is also an essential skill to get down. Unlike Mario, you need to hit and hold jump again right when you make contact with the enemy. This is very true. Also writes, Dixie is overall the Kong you want to have around the most for utility. He's right. Dixie Kong is very useful. Cranky will get you some secrets and pull off some cool stuff, but Dixie is the main monkey, and that is right. Dixie has this cool helicopter power. Between Diddy Kong's slightly lame jetpack and Cranky Kong's pogo stick, Dixie is the only one that seems to have an actual game-enhancing power, giving you floating that almost equivalates to having a double jump, but not quite. We also had some conflicting opinions because people have different beliefs on how they wanted the game to be played. For instance, so Happy Tree Frenemies writes, you have to get a state of flow in order to be good in DKC. This game is all about timing, and I believe it was created to be played in a speedy manner. Don't think too much, but do not rush your moves either. Just try to find the right rhythm and have fun. Enjoy the ride. So he's saying to stay calm. Well, actually, it's kind of telling you to just go through it without thinking when you think about it. Meanwhile, another Redditor had something that was kind of a counterpoint. And he writes, McGavin, keep calm and take your time. It's no mystery that this game is quite challenging. I remember I had a lot of difficulty on my first playthrough, especially on temple levels. I also noticed on sections where I was dying a lot, I began to become frustrated and started making stupid mistakes. After a while, I realized I needed to put my controller down, grab a water, and wait for myself to calm down. This helped me maintain focus and get through some of the more tricky sections of the game. It also helps sometimes to stop moving and watch the pattern of the platforms and obstacles in front of you. Finding the right rhythm of movements can be often the key to success. They both mention rhythm of movement, but they have different ways of approaching it. One says to just fall into this flow and tear through the course, as I'm doing in this video clip right now. The other idea is to just take your time and make it deliberate. Just really zoom in on the part you're focusing on and make it work. Now, while those were good general practices, I got tips for funky mode, and funky mode is like the easy mode of the game. It's a lot easier with double jumps, floating in midair, not getting hurt by spikes. It kind of dampens the difficulty to such a degree that it's actually too easy. Like, it didn't strike the balance. Normal mode is really hard. Funky mode is really easy. but as far as Funky goes, roll, stomp on enemy, repeat best with Funky. Yep, that is right, Spicy Squids. You do that. Although, in more depth, and I'm gonna try and say this name right, Kanakatak21. If you are playing as Funky, learn to press jump after bouncing, instead of holding the jump, as it will keep you moving instead of just hovering. And this helped out in the bonus tempo levels, but as you were about to land on someone, just hold the jump button to get some more distance. You really need to keep holding this with consecutive enemies to get a good rhythm and going superior distance. More about rhythm. Dixie, as pointed out in earlier commenters, is the best Kong, in my opinion, with DK. Learn to roll and jump and then hover helps a lot with crazy levels and probably last 2 boss fights. Invest in Juice for an extra heart if you feel you can't make it through a level without her. And yeah, it's these bosses are very hard, and sometimes it doesn't seem like I can make it through a level without help from one of the other Kongs, which gives you more health and also gives you special abilities. And Dixie's little helicopter move is the most useful, clearly. Well, I don't like Cranky, because he has this pogo move, and it's counterintuitive to the other characters who have either a jetpack or the helicopter effect. Now, during this thread, I got some tips, but I also got some specific help, as some people on Reddit actually asked each other about tips for the game. So, Black Throne writes that, seriously, the Bobopolis level is maddening. Still haven't beat it. Not sure what the suggestion is when you get the flying penguins and then have to jump on the walrus. I'm completely mistiming or something. McGavin from earlier writes, on the platform before you reach the penguins, perform a roll before you jump and try to skip some of them with your momentum. That's how I got through it, at least. Thanks, I was able to beat it last night thanks to your advice. Appreciate it. No problem. Glad to help. I haven't gotten to that part yet, so here's some footage from another game that I happened to record. Because I don't have that footage. I did not get far. One other specific piece of wisdom came from another thread with McGavin again. Whitney Blair writes, I'm still having trouble with Mountaintop Tussle. I didn't expect the boss fights in this game to be so intricate and challenging. Unless I suck. No, you don't suck. The bosses are very challenging in Tropical Freeze. Particularly difficult. McGavin writes back, if you aren't, try bringing Dixie along. Her Kung Pao moves turn the enemies into gold hearts, and there are a lot of instances where you can take advantage of this. Besides that, try to study Scowl's patterns and carefully grab the hatchlings as soon as they appear. End the phase as quickly as possible. Whitney Blair replies, thanks, I usually chose Dixie, but forgot about the Kung Pao ability. As do I, it doesn't seem like that much of a big deal. I've done it with DK and Diddy, and they just turn the enemies into a red balloon, but it doesn't always work for everyone. And for bosses, it only counts as one hit. Another problem I have in general is avoiding damage altogether. That's when everything falls apart. Sometimes playing as DK makes you feel really handicapped. I heard Funky Kong is more forgivable, but wanted to try my first playthrough as the game was originally intended. The bottom line with this is, yes, the campaign is very hard in normal mode, and the funky mode they added on to it does in fact make it easier, but it also makes it more accessible. So if you're not a big Donkey Kong fan, I would say just go straight to funky mode and play it that way first, then play the original mode, or if you really are a purist, you can go straight into original mode and then play funky mode after. That's it though. Thank you very much to these Reddit users for submitting their best tips and tricks, and keep your eye out on us. You can like and subscribe this page, and be sure to comment on some tips you have, or keep your eye out for the next video in which we also ask for tips.